January 1959, the frozen wilderness of the Ural Mountains. A group of 9 experienced hikers, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, set out on a challenging trek through the icy slopes of the Kholat-Syakhl mountain, a place locals ominously called Dead Mountain. They were young, skilled, and well-prepared, students and graduates of the Ural Polytechnic Institute. Their journey was supposed to end in triumph, another notch in their growing record of mountaineering achievements. Instead, it ended in one of the most enduring and disturbing mysteries of the 20th century. For days, the hikers made steady progress, recording their steps in journals and photographs that revealed camaraderie and determination. Their final camp was pitched on February 1st, on an exposed slope just below the summit of Kholat-Syakhl. The weather was harsh, snow whipping across the barren mountain, but nothing suggested imminent danger. Yet within hours, something drove all 9 hikers into a state of chaos and terror. Weeks later, when search teams finally discovered the campsite, they were met with a scene that defied logic. The tent was still standing, but had been slashed open from the inside, as if the occupants had clawed their way out in desperation. Boots, coats, and essential gear were left behind. In the snow, barefoot and half-dressed footprints trailed away from the camp, vanishing into the trees. The bodies were found in stages. The first 2, Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonishenko, lay near a small fire at the edge of the forest, stripped almost naked despite the freezing temperatures. Their skin bore strange burns, their hands shredded as if they had climbed desperately at tree bark. Between the forest and the camp, 3 more bodies were discovered. Dyatlov himself, along with Zina Kolmogorova and Rustem Slobodin. They appeared to have collapsed while trying to return to the tent, their positions frozen in the snow. Slobodin's skull bore signs of a fracture, though investigators later insisted it was not fatal. The final 4 were found months later, buried beneath snow in a ravine. Their condition was far more alarming. Ludmila Dubinina's tongue was missing, as were her eyes. She and 2 others showed massive internal injuries, broken ribs, crushed chests, but with no external wounds to match the violence. One victim's head was severely damaged as though struck by an immense force. The injuries were compared by experts to those of a car crash, yet there were no tracks of an assailant, no evidence of a struggle, only silence and snow. The official Soviet investigation concluded vaguely. The hikers died due to a compelling natural force. It was an answer that satisfied no one. Theories spread like wildfire. Some suggested an avalanche had struck the camp, forcing the hikers to flee in panic. But the slope was too shallow, and no debris supported the idea. Others believed a sudden katabatic wind, a violent, low-frequency gust, had disoriented the group, driving them into fatal mistakes. More sinister explanations took hold. Military testing was rampant in the Ural region at the time. Some speculate the hikers stumbled upon secret experiments, parachute mines, missile tests, or even chemical weapons, and were killed either by accident or to silence witnesses. Strange glowing orbs reportedly seen in the sky that night fueled the belief in weapons tests, or even UFO involvement. Radiation was detected on some of the victims' clothing, though Soviet officials downplayed its significance. Then there is the human factor. Some have argued that tensions within the group erupted into violence, leading to murder, yet the injuries suggest something more powerful than human hands. The missing tongue and eyes, the crushing trauma without external wounds, and the hurried escape from the tent remain unexplained by any simple theory. For decades, the Dyatlov Pass incident has been a breeding ground for speculation. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation, eventually concluding in 2020 that an avalanche was to blame. But many experts and families of the victims remain unconvinced. They point out inconsistencies in the avalanche theory, the angle of the slope, tense visibility, the nature of the injuries. For them, the mystery endures. What is certain is this: 9 young lives ended violently in the frozen isolation of the Urals, leaving behind a puzzle carved into snow and silence. Their last moments, filled with terror and confusion, remain unknowable. The image of the torn tent, the scattered bodies, and the unanswered questions haunt anyone who delves into the case. The Dyatlov Pass incident stands as one of history's most haunting unsolved mysteries. A group of skilled hikers vanished, Not because of their inexperience, but because of something else. Something powerful enough to drive them from shelter into the deadly cold. Something violent enough to shatter bodies without leaving a trace of its own presence. 66 years later, the mountain still holds its secret, and the final steps of 9 hikers remain frozen in time. A chilling reminder that some places are not meant to give up their answers. That's it for today. Some crimes scar history, some mysteries haunt forever. Until the next mystery, stay vigilant.